Hey everyone, welcome back to Average Joe Preparedness. My name's Rick, and I'm an Average Joe. Okay, first thing, forgive my appearance because I'm out working. Yeah, and this is the way it really is. So, and hopefully you guys are too. Hopefully you guys are busy, you guys are doing things, you guys are moving in a direction. If this is your first time here, this is Average Joe Preparedness. This is for average people, normal people, suburbia. That's where I am. So I saw channels that were for people over here, people over there. I didn't see them for just like normal people. So that's why I made the channel. So if you're new here, hey, welcome. Yay. Stick around for a little bit, see what happens. If you're returning, I thank you and I appreciate you, especially if you are one of my subscribers. Yes, because basically I do it for you guys. Again, I've mentioned it before. I didn't think there was going to be any, and there's a few, so a little bit responsible for you guys. Kind of, sort of. Yes? Yes. Okay, first part of this video, I'm going to actually take you guys outside and show you some updates to some things, and they're things average people can do. And if you've watched my videos before, if you guys go back, which I always recommend, you guys will see there's like movement in the things that I do, and then I show you, and then you'll be like, oh, it used to be like this, and now it's kind of like this, and it used to be like this, and now it's like that. Yeah, exactly. Because movement is what you need to do. You can't be stagnant for long. I mean, you can take breaks and all, but you have to just step by step, nice and easy. And some of the improvements are over years. So let's not fool ourselves, or don't think I'm fooling you that, oh, I did it like that, like that. That's not the way of it. You have to do things constantly because you have life. I have life, guys. So I don't get to do this stuff as often as maybe I should, or I'd like to, or whatever. I do it when I can because life. You still have to live it. Yes? Yes. And speaking of that, I'll give you an example. Last week I was basically gone most of the day, all last week because I mentioned it before. I volunteer. So I did some volunteering. I work with, it's a Boys and Girls Club affiliated. It's with military and federal employee children, and we did archery class. It was pretty cool. So positive karma, or paying it back, or paying it forward, or however you want to put it. But yeah, that's what you should do, I guess. Everybody has their own way. It's what I do once in a while. I do some volunteer work. Gets me out of the house. Yay, get to interact with, use different sizes, because young ones all the way up to older ones. But yeah, you still have to live life. That's the point I'm getting at. So yes, live life, but be prepared. Yes? Yes. And what do you say? Let's go outside? Yeah, outside. Now I've mentioned that on my raised garden beds that I put a hoop system in, and I'm running shade now. I ran plastic on it in the winter, and I'm going to run plastic again at the end of the year. So that way I can keep growing things. Let me just show you the idea of things I do. So if you guys can tell, that's lettuce, and there's some spinach and lettuce and more lettuce and some older spinaches and radishes, and you'll notice how it kind of fades. See that? Try not to move you guys too fast. But what I do is I plant in rows over different times, and then this, once it thins out, which it is, and then I'm going to start planting again over here. I got me some new topsoil, new compost, and then I'll plant, and then I'll plant, and then as it moves this way, I plant. And that has like rotating, because I don't know if you guys can see all this lettuce, is you don't want this whole thing being lettuce at one time. Does that make sense? Because you need to eat it. And so we're eating it, and as we kill it, for lack of a better term, and I plant more, and then we start all over again, and it's a rotating basis. I hope that makes sense. Yes? I believe I told you guys a story about cucumbers, which was crazy. But so this year, as of right now, 2 plants. One right there, one right there. Got some flowers. Don't know if you can see them. Next to that, in this bed, I've got some white onions. I've never planted those before, so we're just seeing how they're doing. Some carrots, just getting rid of some old seeds I had. And then this, I mentioned, is my raised bed of potatoes. You guys can see that. And they're still growing. They're still doing well. I cut back. I get some dead leaves. Let me see if I can point some out. Like the leaves will go dead, and then I'll cut them, and then they just regrow on the stems. I'd cut all these off, and then these guys are just going. So I don't know how well they'll do. Never raised them in a raised garden bed before, so we'll see. Yes? Yes. Now in a previous video, I showed you this rain catcher. However, it had this funky I did it sort of tube that came up, and then I'd mentioned in another video that I'd gotten that fixed. So I'd gotten this done, so it's really nice. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? I think it does for suburbia, because that's what you have to do in suburbia. And I said that I'd gotten a second one for this area, which I have. Now it's installed. Before it wasn't. And you see they're connected. So this one will fill up to here, then the water will come over into here, then they will both fill. There'll be some back pressure from this one over on that side, but so doubled the water storage for the area where some of the garden beds are. Yes, just want to update you on that's the new part and the second rain barrel. Yes, yes. Now the potatoes being grown in the bucket. I told you that they had died, and so I'd set the buckets off. Whoopsie. Over here, just waiting for them to dry out. It was supposed to take a week or 10 days or whatever. You can see how they are. Now I'm going to empty these and we're going to see how it goes. But here's a surprising note. Look at that. This one decided he wanted to start growing again. So I'm going to let him just to see what happens. Yes? So I'll probably do a video of dumping these out and you guys can see. I don't know how it's going to go because they died pretty early. But we'll just have to wait. Yes? I told you that there was just a dead space in my yard between two trees. There's tree number 1, tree number 2, and I had some red potatoes that were going bad in my pantry. They were growing, so I decided to tear up some ground here. Just very simple. You can see it's like wild. It's got the leaves falling on it, but all these large ones, those are red potatoes. Never grown before, never grown anything back here. And I threw some vine plants in this whole area, but the bugs got to them until I put the cups around them, which saves them from eating the stems. And I did the same over here, only one survived. So these are vines. I'm gonna have them running out that direction and that direction. Hopefully it'll work out. Yes. This is one of the blueberry bushes I had planted, and this is the one that's under the, see everything is dead here. This is underneath a pine tree, so it's an experiment. We're gonna see if this one works. And then that, and you can see it's wilting in the day because it's so hot here, it's ridiculous. That is a vine plant that I had planted seeds here and nothing grew. Well, when I tore this up and put some new topsoil down for the blueberry bush, suddenly one decided to grow. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. Now, although I live in suburbia, I grow corn. Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is it. This is the extent. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's some double stalks there, and there's some double, triple stalks there. But I never get a good harvest. However, I grow them, and then when they die, we use them for decorations for Halloween. No joke. We've done it like a couple years in a row. And hopefully, you're just starting to get those nifty little things right there. Hopefully this year, maybe we'll actually get some corn. But what's important, or what I want to show you is, this first one isn't as tall as that one. The third one's not as tall. I took some old seeds and I planted that one and that one, and they are growing like crazy. So it was an old corn cob. I could probably show it to you. Maybe I still got it somewhere that I threw in my shed. And what I'm hoping is that the plant is getting used to this area, getting used to the seed area, getting used to the water, the sun, and hopefully each year I'm going to save some and grow it the next year. They'll grow better. Experiment. We'll find out. Okay, so you didn't think I was telling a story. This small little corn cob came off of one of those last year, and I just threw it in my shed and I let it dry out. And this year I popped some seeds off of it and planted them, and that is what's growing over there. Yeah, just so you knew, I was telling the truth. That's what it was. Yes. And we're back. I didn't think I have more stuff out there. I've got the other blueberry bush. I've got strawberries. They're growing, and I've got little things here. There's some other potatoes I'm growing. I didn't think you guys were getting tired of like, flash, here's a different area, flash, here's a different area, flash. But I just wanted to show you that what I'm doing and what I'm telling you I'm doing, and then what I'm actually doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys are like, well, he's just talking and he's not actually doing it. I don't know. So yeah, water, food. Let's see what else. I'm doing out there. Oh, sprinkler heads. I didn't bring one in. I'm slowly changing out my sprinkler heads to use the most efficient kind, the little finger ones. I got some more. I'll be changing them out front, trying to do my part because heat and water levels going down and saving water and all that good kind of stuff. So I'm trying to help out. And a lot of the stuff that I grow out there, I actually hand water. And when I mean hand water, I don't mean I take the hose out there and spray it. I mean I got me a watering can and I put it on the soil really close so it doesn't evaporate and we don't lose it. I actually have to go out there and hand water the stuff. I do that like once or twice a day because it's so hot, and then obviously it gets watered once or twice a week depending. So yeah, that's the update for Outback. Yay! What else have we got going on? Okay, I had mentioned before that by the end of finances, you guys ready? Stomp the foot so pay attention. Finances are very important. They always are, because you can't do anything when you're in debt, darkness. That's a different video I've done before and I'll probably do again. But I had mentioned that I was pretty excited because the lovely lady in my life, her vehicle was going to get paid off by the end of the year. And hopefully you guys get excited too, because if you see how things are going, I think the Fed's about to raise the interest rate again, and the government's arguing, we'll get into that in a second, about whether we're in a recession. Doesn't matter, maybe we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But the point being is a situation arose and we were able to pay off her car. So it's now paid off. So both of our cars are paid off. I've talked to you about our credit cards, how we charge little things and then pay it off just to keep the credit. So basically the only money that we owe is our note on our house. And we've already talked about how we've got the great interest rate and we're paying it off early. Yes? So I'm happy. I don't know if you guys are going to be happy for me, but the point is to show you guys that these things can be done. It takes years. It's painful. There's sacrifice, but it can be done. And yeah, it's awesome. No more car payment. Yes? Yes. Okay, so if you like happy videos, which hopefully this was, showing you these things and trying to reinforce positive things that you could do this. I mean, you saw 5-gallon buckets, even if you don't have a lot of space. And I don't know if you saw the one garden thing that I dug up back there. I think it's like 4 foot by 6 foot, maybe, and the potatoes and stuff are growing, so it can be done. All right, I literally, and did you see where I'm growing my corn? It's like along a fence, a little strip right there. That's it. I live in suburbia, guys. Not a joke. I mean, this is actual. I live in suburbia, white picket fences and all that good kind of stuff. I don't live out in the middle of nowhere. So wherever you are, and even if it's smaller, your 5-gallon buckets, wherever you are, you can do things, you can learn things, or you can be stagnant and not do anything. I mean, that's up to you. But if you're here, hopefully you're an average person that's like, man, I need to start doing something. I don't know what it is, or you have an idea of what it is, and you're looking for information. That's what I'm here for, is to let you know that average people can do these things. Yes? Yes. Now, like I was saying, if you like happiness, then now the video is going to go a little bit in a different direction. I hate doing it, but it needs to be done. So if you want to stop now, hopefully you'll watch the whole thing, but if you want to stop, the happiness part's kind of done. So the first thing is the Fed's getting ready to raise interest rates again, and if you understand how the media works, and it depends on who's in office and who they like and this and the other thing, I see they're arguing. They're like, well, we're not in a recession. And if you look up the definition of recession, we're in a recession, people. So, but they're spinning it, and they're using this weird, strange logic, and they're just bouncing around and not saying it. Why? In the news, because their favorite person's in charge of their group or whatever. Some would argue that. Not me. I wouldn't argue that. I'd just say, oh, I'm sure they're telling us the truth. Even though I can read the definition of what a recession is. Yes? Yes. Somebody might say, Rick, why you bring that up? Well, a couple of things. First off, you're being lied to. We're in a recession. So if you aren't acting like it, you are behind the curve. You see what I'm saying? You need to be acting like it. Again, we talked about finances. Pay off your bills. Don't incur debt. Leave below your means. Do little things each and every day, because they're lying to you. And they're going to lie to you about everything. They don't care about you. And I don't understand why people don't get that. People think other people and groups of people, and especially governments, whatever, care about them. And I can tell you right now, I work for the government. My family's worked for the government generations worth. Still working for the government right now. Government doesn't care about you at all. They don't. All they care about headlines and votes and staying in power. They care about money and power. I've done videos on it. Money and power. That's all people care about. They're lying to you. Stop being lied to, you know. Or not, you know, I could be wrong. What do I know? Just an average Joe. Yes. Yay. And speaking of money and power, the money part, I watched a video and it was a guy doing YouTube videos like this and preparedness, but then he went off on a tangent. He was like, hey, just to let you know, okay, and I've done this thing where you shouldn't do absolutes. You really should get out of the habit. You don't do everyone, no one, always, never. You shouldn't do it. But anyways, and he's like, every YouTube person out there, which apparently I'm a YouTube person because this is YouTube, only wants one thing. And they want people to they do clickbait and they want people to follow them so they can make money and make money and they can just retire doing videos. Yeah. Okay, info you, he shouldn't have said everyone. So now I see a lot of videos out there that I'm not going to disagree with him. A lot of content creators, I'm not going to disagree with what he says. However, if you're here, you see the quality of the videos. You see the way I'm dressed. You see the editing. You see no affiliated links. You see me not really being sponsored by, I'm not sponsored by anyone. You see me not, no. I do this because I feel I need to. You know what I'm saying? And again, it makes me feel better. Long story, done a video on it, but just wanted to cover that real fast. Yes? Yes. All right, now a little bit darker and talking about YouTube creators. It's getting bad out there, people. The clickbait is crazy. The hair on fire is crazy. Again, I will tell you what is coming is inevitable. You can't stop it. You're not going to stop it. All you can do is be prepared. And that goes for anything. And I'm not talking about, I mentioned before, there's no bunkers and stuff. This is not a doomsday prepper channel. This is preparedness. Fire extinguishers, flashlights, a bug out bag, but I'm talking a bug out bag. I was in the military for a really long time. And you had a bag, it was like a go bag. And if there's an emergency and you need to go. So if there's an emergency where you live, there's like fires and floods and famine, oh my, and hurricane, whatever. Having a backpack, I'm pointing at one right here. Having a backpack that's got stuff that you can just grab and go is not a doomsday prepper, okay? It's just something everyone should have. The government recommends it. The Red Cross recommends it. It's not a big deal, and so that's what I'm getting at. Not doomsday. But staying on point, it's getting really bad out there. There's a lot of fear porn going on. There's a lot of people just like, end of the world, World War III, Civil War, Mad Max, and okay, whatever. I mentioned it before dozens of times. If you hear all the time, you guys might get tired of it. Please don't. It's just positive reinforcement, or it's just reinforcing. And if you're new here, you're going to hear it. Is you need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself. You need to be prepared for things, and that makes you have an easy life. And you don't have to be panicking like interest rates are going to go up again. Okay, well, I only have one loan now. We only have one loan. Except the credit cards, again, and those are going to go up. But again, we charge and we pay off. Charge and pay off to do the credit cycle thing. You know how that is. But we have a good interest rate on our house. Saw this coming, you know, and we have it. And so we are prepared for that. Preparation, preparedness. Right now, there's like, oh my God, there's no water. There's drought everywhere. You see, I catch rainwater. I use that for the gardens. And I don't know if you saw, I have cover so the water doesn't come off. And I use natural things in the soil to try to hold moisture in. And there's shade. And you see what I'm saying? Be prepared for things. Don't be surprised by stuff. Okay, and finally, I saw a content creator out there. And since I'm going to say something negative, whenever I say something negative, I usually don't point them out. But if I say something positive, then I may point them out. So, and give them the credit that they deserve. So, and the whole story behind it was that liberals, not Democrats, so let's not get into politics, but some people do with liberals and conservatives. It was why liberals should be preppers. And I was like, well, this should be interesting. I'd seen one or two like that before. And I click on them just to see where they're going. Some of them went left and some went right. Some were good and some of them were just like, this is stupid. This is just asinine. And I say that with any kind of content creator. Sometimes they just go off and they're just like, whoa, where are they going? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't follow them. And so I just put it aside and look for something else. It's because you have to use your own logic. Yes? Yes. So this one went bonkers. And let me try to shrink it down as much as I can and I'll explain why. Yes? Now, info you, I have very, very liberal friends, and I have very conservative friends, and I'm neither. I'm dead center. Some things I'm very liberal, and some things I'm very conservative. I'm like a libertarian, or I'm just independent thinker. I think my way, and this is it. If I like something, I like something. If I don't like something, I don't like something. So I try not to put myself in one of those cool little boxes. But and I guess I'm not too much of a libertarian because I think doing heroin is probably a bad idea. Yes? Yeah. I've been around people that do heroin. It's a bad idea. Long time ago. But story. Doesn't matter. So, anyways, I've lived in very liberal places, and I've lived in conservative places. I've moved around all over the place. I've lived in other countries, tons of them, doesn't matter. And I think extremely liberal, like I guess extremely conservative, has its issues. Anytime you're on either end of the spectrum. However, for most things, and I mean, I feel bad for people, but I'm talking about logic, not feelings. Extremely liberal places, yeah, I don't want to live there. Now, that's just my business. Everybody's got their own. I'm not trying to put it on anybody else. Everybody's got their own thing, and I think it's awesome. But when I look around and you backtrack stuff, and yes, why at least 5 times, and you find the root cause for things, a lot of the things that bother me, a lot of things that should be bothering you, and I'm talking big picture wise, they go back to people's feelings and not fact. And usually feelings are on the liberal side. I'm not saying every time, I said usually. And so anyway, she's like, yeah, we should be liberals. And she gave all these reasons. And some were like, well, because conservative preppers are like, take care of yourself before you take care of others. And she was like, well, we can lead them so that they don't do that. Because we need to take care of everybody. That's what we need to do. We need to prep for everyone. We're just gonna take everybody in, and we're all just gonna. I was like, I don't think you understand how it works. That idea of like I want to take care of the world is very liberal. In my mind, that's how it's been explained to me by liberal people, my liberal friends, acquaintances, and it doesn't work. Okay, here we've talked about small circle, bigger circle, bigger circle. And as the circle goes out, I care less. I do need to take care of me before I can take care of someone else. And then another thing she said, she's like, yeah, I'm preparing so I can take care of other people that are less fortunate. And then she said something that someone's just going to have to explain it to me. She was like, but I don't want to come in as your white savior. And I was like, what the holy hell did she just say? And I had to rewind it. So she's like, I'm prepping for people that are less fortunate, but then when I help them, I don't want them to think that I'm coming in as a white savior. And she used that term like 3 times, I think, in her thing. And I was like, whoa. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Just way out there, people. I don't understand it. I don't get this things that are going on in the world. Admittedly, I'm telling you, I don't get it. So I guess I'm not hip and jiggy, and I'm just a normal guy who lives in suburbia. So if those things confuse you and you're just like me, hey, welcome to Average Joe Preparedness. Because yeah, it made no sense. It was like, to be honest, I'm still confused by it. Now, I'd mentioned before, one of my first videos, that I wanted everyone to be prepared. I wanted everyone to practice preparedness. And then last video before that, I think I might have mentioned that I'm moving in a direction that no, I don't. It would be nice. But there's some people that, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but what do we call it? Like a vetting process or Darwinism or something. I got no clue. All right, guys, I told you it was going to get dark, and then, the video was happy, and you could have paused or jumped forward to the end. So now we're at the end, and we're just going to take it back up again. So hopefully you guys see what's coming. All right, I'm not reading the news to you to let you know. I mean, I did mention that they're getting ready to do interest rate. The cost of everything's going up. Oh, one thing that was pretty cool. The gas prices are coming down just a little bit, right? Everybody's all excited. They're very happy, especially mainstream media. They're like, yeah, Biden's bringing down gas prices. Woo, woo, party, party. All right, let me tell you a story I learned when I was in the military from an officer. And so we were having to work extra. Instead of like 8 hours a day. I'm just throwing these numbers out, guys, because if you're in the military, you understand that's not the way it was. So 8 hours a day, we were working like 9. So we were working extra hours. And it was for a while. There was reasons for it. And the guys were getting pissed. And when I say guys, I mean that as a generic term. I can't use that anymore, I guess, but I'm still going to. So the guys were getting upset. And they're like, man, we're working 9 hours. This is getting old. And they were getting frustrated, right? So I went to the officer and I was like, hey, the guys it's dragging, it's dragging on. They're working 9 hours, And he's like, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to solve this. And I said, okay, cool beans. How are we going to solve it? He says, we're going to go to 12s. And I was like, that's going to solve the problem? He says, yeah, watch. So for the next 2 weeks, we worked 12-hour shifts. And everybody was like, okay, this sucks. You know what I mean? After the 2 weeks, what we did is we went back to 10 hours. And everybody was happy. Yes? Yeah. Check the logic, people. They were working longer than they were before. And they were happy. So, you happy with that less than $5 gas price, which isn't going to last, by the way? Yeah. Just in for you. Happy. Yay. Alright, guys, that's about it. I got more stuff to do because that is the way. It's hot as heck here. Whew, even here in my garage, it's steaming. So, anyways, to end this, I hope this finds you well. I hope you are happy. I hope you are positive. And I hope whoever you are, and I'm actually not joking, okay? I hope whoever you are, whatever side of the spectrum you're on, I hope you're being prepared. Yes?